Initially, the vision was honestly just come down here, live a different life, make pizza the best that I can. Yeah, the first 5.5 years, I made every pizza out of that oven myself. Okay, because it was a craft that no one knew. I think I brought over maybe like 2 million in sales and did not stay a year. I stayed 3 and doubled the business over the 3 years for them. I think one of the most important is making sure the key people, leadership, is in the right position. Right person, right position. You know really fast, wrong person, wrong position. Next thing you know, out of this 1,000 square foot restaurant, Bavaro's,
you're making sauce for
we're making sauce on an electric stove because we didn't even have a hood. Within a 2.5, 3 year period, we went from a farmer's market to over 2,000 retail stores across the country. What we've always done and what we will always do is never change who we are. Regardless of whatever everybody else is doing, our core business, we ain't changing for anyone.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to Talkin St. Pete. I am your host, Ryan Bogden. Before I get into today's amazing guest, I want to let you know that this podcast is sponsored by Bogden Homes here at Keller Williams St. Pete. If you know anyone in the area that needs any help with any of their home needs, you need a good landscaper, you want to talk about the value of your home, whatever it is, we're here to help. And Talkin St. Pete, the awesome podcast where we talk to local business owners, artists, city officials, you name it, anyone who's shaping our beautiful city, we like to speak to them, which brings me to our next guest, Dan Bavaro, the owner, founder of Bavaro's, my favorite establishment in St. Pete.
Appreciate that.
Dan, it's a real honor and privilege to have you here because at the end of every show, I ask every guest what's their favorite place to eat, and mine is always Bavaro's.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you said you visit like 3 times a month. I
live across the street, man. So it's like incredible. In my mind, I always tell my friends every time I'm there, I go, I have to eat here all the time because how much longer am I going to live across the street from one of the best Italian spots in St. Pete?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We put, that's all the team. It ain't me. I created division and stuff like that. And we, with many over the years, 16 years, we just kind of evolved. Like I can't even take credit for it anymore. And it's the execution of the people in the building. Well, it's
the execution also of a good leader with a vision, right?
Yeah, that's true.
As leaders, we paint the vision and we put good people in place, and then they execute, right?
Yeah, that is the truth. Yeah. And just people ask me like what my job is, and I think one of the most important is making sure the key people, leadership, is in the right position. Right person, right position. You know really fast, wrong person, wrong position. And sometimes that doesn't mean like remove the person. Because if they have value, maybe we're asking something of them that they're just not created to do.
Yeah, you're like putting a puzzle together.
Hold on, let's shift it. Let's take this person, put them over here if it's a spot available, and then it's sometimes you see how much people flourish, and it's just amazing. So. Yeah.
Well, that's the product of a good leader and seeing that in people, right? I struggle with that sometimes. I see the good in everyone, right? Yeah. And you're like, I know, they got it. They just are in their own way. But we help them the best we can. So Bavaro's, let's go back to speaking of vision.
Yeah.
Where did this dream come from to start this? Let's go back in time to when Dan, before Bavaro's existed, where were you, what were you doing, and how did it come to life in your mind first?
Such an interesting story. So I'll try to abbreviate as much as I can. So how it was created, I believe it was around 2006, living in New Jersey. It's where I'm from.
What part?
Monmouth County, Freehold area, kind of central Jersey,
about
45 south of New York. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I owned a transportation business. And I don't like to say limousine business because we didn't really own limos. I owned luxury town cars and Escalades when they first came out.
And black car service.
Yeah, black car, but very high profile. Mm-hmm. It wound up evolving started when I was 19, high school dropout at 16, had a, self-inflicted difficult upbringing, let's just say. And the business helped me reshift my focus along with a couple mentors I had, one who was teaching me the business at 19. So started with one car, chauffeuring people to the airport, got creative with marketing, wound up landing a Citigroup executive who lived like 10 minutes from my house, and started to show for him. And then that just evolved into like the founder of Citigroup, Sandy Weil, was a client.
Wow.
Wound up getting with Def Jam Records, AIG, and somehow we just chauffeured like the top of all these places. HBO Sports.
You were okay. That's
United
sweet.
Healthcare. Like, things just happened. I feel like gifts were just giving, and the company grew. I drove the first 2 years, learned the business, did all the odds and ends. 24 hours a day I was available. And then slowly but surely, you start hiring people, buying cars, and 9/11 happened. We were able to like survive over that, but a lot of companies did not. So then like our company doubled. So fast forward a few years to how I got the idea of, this Neapolitan pizza concept. I sold that business when I was 27 to the third largest chauffeur company in the world. Same clientele, just way bigger, all over the place. And, I had a year to consult. That was the contract. We'll buy the company, we'll pay you really well for a year. You make sure the accounts stick, and then whatever happens, happens. So day one, I go to the office after the sale, and I sit down, and I'm just like, this ain't gonna work.
It's all different now.
I'm an owner, you know?
Yeah.
Granted, I wasn't an employee, I was a contracted consultant, but it's like, I need to create, I need to dream, I need to do this, but I still love the business. So I think I brought over maybe like 2 million in sales, and did not stay a year. I stayed 3 and doubled the business over the 3 years for them. And during that time, about a year in, I'm a visionary. I see stuff, I dream, and, I want to get linked in on things. I stumbled upon Neapolitan pizza online.
Online?
Yeah. And there was only one in New York City, and there was probably about 5 or 6 in the country at that time. No one knew what Neapolitan pizza was, like true Neapolitan pizza. And my mother's side of the family is from Napoli. So I'm like, all right, for me to get into something, I got to like be emotionally connected and dive in. So that was the birth of it. And then it was just, okay, who knows anything about this? I found some guy in Atlanta who was online blogging his study of this, and he was super smart, very intelligent guy, had the Guinness Book of World Record for the Rubik's Cube for many years. So this was like interesting, and just the way he like dissected yeast, heat, flour, and different type, flame and gas and all.
He was a chemist.
This dude was like a mad scientist. He was so focused on this. And I hit him up online, sent him an email, and look, I'd love to learn from you. And he was like, wow. He's like, all right, come down. I didn't know this guy. So I flew down to Atlanta, stayed in his house.
Wow.
And we made pizza for days. And that gave me like the foundation of, what this thing was about. This Neapolitan pizza concept. So that was actually the foundation. Then it's like, try to find a guy who makes an oven in Italy. You're talking about 3rd, 4th generation. And this is back in 06, where technology wasn't as advanced as it is today. No one's really communicating people with, online
right.
like that. And let alone send like 20,000 euros to go buy ovens and stuff to Napoli. It's like, one of the mafia capitals of the world.
Right,
it's like,
you bet. You hope
anything back?
Right, you hope your oven shows up.
Yeah. So like, so that was the start. So here I'm consulting. I'm in a year and a half, and I'm dreaming up what a restaurant would be.
Yeah.
And never been in the business. I did a little caterer. One of my mentors had a catering business. We used to cater movie sets in New York City. And I didn't cook or anything. I was just like the rat, I would call it. He's like, you're going to go on site, make sure everything's good, make sure the celebrities are happy, and leave. Any problems, call me. That's what I did, But yeah, that was the start of it.
So you had this, it sounds like a obsession about pizza.
Yeah.
Neapolitan pizza.
Yes.
And that morphed into then I have to open a restaurant, or like what?
Yeah. So it morphed into like a
you're
business.
still in New Jersey in this time.
Yes.
Okay.
Still in New Jersey, commuting 2.5 hours to my office in Long Island City.
Wow.
So I was in the car 5 hours a day. I had a lot of time to think.
Right. Yeah.
And once I accomplished like the goals for the place that I was operating, like get it to an efficient level of running and stuff. I mean, it was crazy what was going on in that business. Then the job became easy. So I had free time. So yeah, so the idea was, all right, let me let's open this up. I need
Okay,
a
but you're
future.
in New Jersey in the time. So how do you bring? Because you opened your first one in Tampa, right?
Correct. Yeah. So 07, at the time we would visit the family down to Tampa. I have an uncle here. At the time, my wife had a cousin here, so we would come down and visit. So Tampa, in my mind, entrepreneurially would be like a place that nobody would touch for a while. If I were to do this in New York and New Jersey, the second it got caught on, and there was a guy doing it, and he's famous for it, but once it became a thing,
You'd have a lot of competition.
oh, forget it. 100 will open in a week.
Right.
So that was a piece of it. Like, where can I plant the flag to start something and own it for a while? And then also real estate. We wanted to buy the real estate. And Northeast, unaffordable. Florida at the time, inexpensive, dirt cheap. So wound up purchasing 514 North Franklin in 2007 and just sat on it for 2 years. Not even having like the concept down. It was
You
just
knew
we
that was a
had
good
the
location.
space.
Yeah.
I believe it to be a good space. My first visit was like, where is everybody? I don't see anybody walking around. This ain't New York, And then started to create and develop the concept. So that's why. And then, behind the scenes, personally, I had a tough time after I sold the transportation business because in my mind, it saved my life. At 19, I was doing some crazy stuff. I still continued to till I was about 20. And then I was finally out of everything by like 21. So it took me a couple of years to kind of like get out of the street life, and the business helped that. So like I look at the business as something that saved me, So now, we sell the business and it hurt,
Because now you lost your purpose.
Exactly. So like I kind of got a little depressed. At the same time, that 2-year period of, negotiating a sale, selling, then afterwards, my father was battling like severe cancer. So I sell the business. 6 months later, he dies. And it's like,
sorry, my condolences.
Yeah, through the years of growing up, he didn't really condone all the bad stuff I was doing. Like he left Brooklyn to get away from everything. And here, that was my life.
Right.
So we really didn't like connect on a lot of things. And then as life started to shift for me, he and I got really close. And then he's gone. So now I got these two things. And like, yeah, financially, everything was great. I was getting paid. I was making the most money I think I'd ever make in my life at the time with no education. And I said, we made a decision to move. Let's just start over. And that's what drove, pack up the car.
We're going south.
Going south, yeah.
Okay. So I love, roller coaster of emotions in that story, but I think great things come out of that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. 100%, tough times will create some really nice things.
Right? You said no pressure, no diamonds.
Yeah.
This is something we
Plus
say.
you go there, honestly, pack up, leave, 4 kids at the time. You got to make it or you lose. I would,
Your back was against the wall.
Zero.
Yeah.
Coming home with nothing.
Right.
That wasn't an option in my mind. So I think actually that helped the survival of the business. Plus when I left the transportation company, they were like, they didn't want me to leave. They thought the 4 million was going to go away in sales,
Right.
So they gave me a 1-year parachute. Without the parachute, we would have never survived the first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So many serendipitous moments that
it was all meant to be.
Yeah.
I believe in that stuff.
Yeah.
100% it was meant to happen. The way it did, the time it did.
Yeah, and now Bavaro's is a staple. But let's go back to those early days. You're now in a new city. You got this concept. You're with the mad scientist learning how to make the pizza. I'm guessing the ovens showed up.
Yeah,
right.
Sure. I got it on YouTube. It's got so many hits. They're bringing it in with a forklift. Everybody's like, "What is that?"
Yeah. So expand on the concept for us because I'm always you being a visionary, I myself, and so I'm always interested in the creative process of you found Neapolitan pizza. You knew this is a new thing here for in the States. People are gonna like this. How did that evolve into what Bavaro's is now?
Yeah, not many people liked it.
Really?
Yeah, because what do you think of when you think pizza? Cardboard box, take it home, pick it up. It's nice and firm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what everybody knows what pizza is.
Right.
Here, this Neapolitan. It's like, what is that? Wood oven, 90 seconds. Is it cooked? Why is it floppy? Why is it not crisp? Why don't you do takeout? Because I wouldn't even let people, if you called, I'll take a pizza to go, we wouldn't do it.
So how did you? Yeah, but so to put those, did you ever do takeout and it didn't work, and that's why you said no?
We didn't do takeout for like 3 years.
Wow, you just said no. We're not. You have to
No.
eat. You have to enjoy it in house.
And then I had every, popular restaurant owner or like staple restaurant come in, love the food, but they're like, you got to give, you got to budge, you got to do this. I'm like, no. I'm like, we need to make sure people know what they're eating, and they didn't. They didn't. And then luckily at the time there was the food critic for the St. Pete Times or Tampa Times was her name was Laura Riley, and she's traveled the world. And when she wrote, everybody and their mother listened. So she finally wrote on Bavaro's and gave us the nod. And then all of a sudden, a lot of the nonsense went away.
Right. You got the blessing.
Where were you 3 years ago?
Right, you got the blessing.
We got the blessing. And honestly, she wrote for just about every restaurant we opened. And I'll get that to St. Pete when we hit St. Pete. But I believe she was a tremendous part of the foundation, like the success of Bavaro's initially, because it was not easy.
So you can credit that moment as like a pivotal moment 100%. In the business. You felt it.
And then there was another gentleman that I know who does, he owns a production company, does a lot of TV shows. And he kind of changed my thought process because I went to him and we were shooting a pilot for Oprah at the time. We were going to get a TV show. And I always expressed like what the challenges were. I was like, they just don't know what to do. He's like, Dan, look, you do a lot of TV. His name's Guy Nickerson, good friend, one of the first people we came close to when we moved here. And he's like, you need to start educating your customers before they get in the store. So I would do a lot of TV segments. I'd talk about fork and knife, start explaining Neapolitan, always an educational piece for years. Then it became on our menus and visuals and the website. So we were just pounding education for years. And, that helped as well. So he kind of like had me look at things a little differently. It's
funny as you say that because I just was teaching this morning, Simon Sinek? He wrote a book called Start With Why.
Yeah.
It's that, right? You start in the middle with the why. Why Neapolitan pizza?
Yes.
And then they'll come to it versus the features of it and then going backwards, right? You got to start at the core, and that's the feeling, emotion behind it. Then people are tied to the story behind it. So that's what you were doing. It's just funny, like
but I didn't know. I didn't know any of this stuff.
I didn't
even know how to run a restaurant. I didn't even know what food cost was until like the 6th year. And all these people I know now, like the Bob Johnson who owns the Melting Pot, huge restaurant group all over the country, and he's been mentoring me for a while. And he's like, "How the hell did you do this?" I'm like, you know what? I got grit. I just when when it's time to go, we go. And
you're shooting from the hip, figuring it out.
Food costs. What is that?
So let's. Bavaro's opens in Tampa.
2009.
2009. Yeah. There's a 7-year gap because you brought one to St. Pete in 16, right?
Yes.
So 7 years. Did you have the vision to open multiple, or was that later as things started to heat up a little bit?
Initially, the vision was honestly just come down here, live a different life, make pizza the best that I can. And that was the goal.
Was the first menu only pizza?
Pizza and salads.
Okay.
Then year 2, it evolved because the business wasn't there. No one was downtown.
Right.
4 o'clock, everybody gone. It ain't downtown Tampa like it is today or what it will be like in the future because it's evolving.
Right.
I mean, we were doing $300,000 in sales. It's horrible.
Tough.
Making nothing.
Yeah.
There was 7 of us in a 900 square foot apartment for 7 years.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So not easy. Commitment was deep. So we had to evolve. So we wound up doing pastas and stuff so we could get into the catering, so we could draw sales. Then we started jarring sauce to go to farmers markets. So people taste the sauce, they buy it, they take it home. They're like, where is downtown, then go. These are all tools to get people to the store.
Yeah, you were thinking marketing ways.
Because we weren't making it. So we went grassroots. So between 2009, to answer your question, and 2016, the first 5.5 years, I made every pizza out of that oven myself. Okay, because it was a craft that no one knew.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it.
Right.
I was learning about different woods, temperature, the time of the year, yeast, how it reacts, if it rains, if it's cold, if it's hot.
Because of biometric pressure
we use a live
changes.
organism. We use a natural starter. Thing's 100 years old. I got it from a bakery in Italy. So this thing has a life of its own, even today. No pizza will ever be the same.
Wow.
So someone had to learn that, and I had to learn the business. So 5.5 years doing that. Then we had a license agreement, which is kind of like a franchise out in Orlando. It ran 2-3 years. They sold the building, so that had to close. And then we're doing these farmers markets to bring attention to the restaurant. A gentleman that worked with me in New York had moved down. His name was Gary Navarro. And we decided to say, look, let's put a label on this thing. Let's try and make a business out of it. So he would work in the restaurant half his time. The other half his time would be farmers markets, then starting to talk to grocery stores. First grocery store we got into was Whole Foods throughout the whole state of Florida.
Wow.
Next thing you know, out of this 1,000-square-foot restaurant, Bavaro's,
you're making sauce for
we're making sauce on an electric stove because we didn't even have a hood. You know those stoves with the coils?
Yes.
That's
Hot plate.
Yeah. That's what started Bavaro's Catering and the sauce business.
Wow.
We jar sauce by hand in the back, sell it at the farmers markets. Within a 2.5-3 year period, we went from a farmers market to over 2,000 retail stores across the country selling. California.
You had to upgrade that hot plate.
Oh yeah, we built a 6,000-square-foot facility.
Yeah.
Ran it for 3 years and realized the business model was not sustainable. You know, there's a lot of anybody who looks at the jar wants a piece of it before it hits the shelf.
Yep.
By the time it hits the shelf, there's no money.
Right. Yeah.
And then the grocery stores, it's a racket. They're like, yeah, you want to get into 100 stores? We're like, yeah, okay. You got to give us a free case per SKU to get in, and then we'll start buying. And
Yeah, so the costs are just so high. Yeah.
What happens? They take the cases, they sell it at 100% profit. They don't call you back.
Right. Yep. Say thank you. See you later.
Yeah, see you. And he's like, wait a minute.
Right. Because there's only so much shelf space.
That's right. You got to fight for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did okay, but not sustainable. And I said, you know what? We're going to pull the plug on this, lick our wounds. Let's focus on the restaurants. And then within a year, St. Pete popped up.
So what happened there? Was it, hey, we need to bring a location to St. Pete, or was it the location you heard about a spot and then decided to open?
Yeah. So always loved St. Pete. Knew we were going to go at some point. When was the question?
Yeah, because St. Pete was very different.
Very different. Yeah. So I had a meeting with a cookbook author. We were doing some work with a page, a recipe with them, and parked on Central Avenue. Central Avenue where we are did not look like it does today. Run down, rough.
Yep.
Saw 1,600-square-foot building for sale. Had a small for sale sign in the corner. Got out of the car, was looking up. I'm like, this would be beautiful for the bars. On one side, it was a men's barbershop. And then the other side was a woman's, I think for like wigs and stuff like that, extensions. So I call up. I was like, is this thing for sale? And the woman's like, it just fell out of contract this morning. I said, how much? She told me the price. I said, send me a contract right now. She sent the DocuSign. I signed it. I didn't know how I was getting the money.
You're like, but I'm there.
I didn't know anything. All I knew is we had a period of time to get it done. And that's how we started St. Pete.
So that was the location you're at now?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what? So nothing.
Central
So at that
Avenue,
time, 2016, I'm trying because I've been Green Bench was open.
I believe so. And there was King's next to me. King's was like hamburgers and hot dogs owned by Steven Schrute. He's a friend of mine. He owns a couple businesses here.
Yeah. I've had him on the show.
Yeah. Oh, Steven. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. Okay, so you're one of the staples on that 9th block of Central.
Yeah, we were one of the first to pioneer that area. There was other businesses there. So so lock that in. I call my banker. They've been knocking on my door for years to do something. So I call her and I'm like, look, I got this property. I'm on a contract and it's $315,000. I need to get a loan to buy the building and blah, blah, blah. So we go through the process and they're like, we can't give you the money. I'm like, it's only $300,000. What are you talking about? They're like, yeah, so we give you the money to buy the building. How are you going to open the restaurant? I was like, well, I'll get investors. I'll find some money. I'll borrow it, whatever the case is. They're like, yeah, there's no guarantee. She's like, how much is this whole thing going to cost? I was like, probably about $900,000. Buy the building, renovate it, have some money, working capital, all that stuff. I was like, probably I'd say 900. She's like, give me a day or two. I was like, well, don't take too long because I'm on the contract.
Right, let's go.
So she calls me up, get this, and she's like, I can't give you the 300. And I'm like, oh, it's like, how am I going to do this? She's like, but I could give you 900.
Even better.
I'm like, what? Through the SBA, Small Business Association.
That's what
I didn't
did.
know anything about it.
Right.
And she's like, all you have to do is put 10% down. I'm like, what?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So we did that, and it was my first SBA financing project. And oh man, it was brutal. It took so long. It was
it's a brutal.
100 the first time they get to know you. Oh man, I got a cavity check and a half. They were pulling documents from like when I was 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're going way back.
Yeah, going way back. And then we actually ran out of time on the contract. So the woman who owned the building owed some money to like a loan sharks or something. And she's like,
she's getting pinched.
Yeah. She's like, if this don't close, you're losing your deposit. And she has a buyer cash ready to buy. So the person who dropped out
came back.
Yes, came back and says, we'll pay cash. So if that would have fell out, she would have had my deposit and got the money the next day to pay off whoever she owed. So I called some friends of mine in Orlando, and I'm like, look, I need 300 and change.
And I'll get you the money when the loan goes through.
They're like, we're going to hit you when the loan goes through. I was like, I don't care. You know, they charged me some fee.
Yeah.
And that's how we held on to the building until the full stretch.
So you actually closed on it prior to.
Oh yeah, they gave. Thank God they were liquid. And
you know, I love that you share all the details in that story because it just showed like that you mentioned grittiness earlier, right? Of like you didn't give up.
Oh man, you know how many times you give up? It's so easy to give up. So
you had so many opportunities. It came together for you, but then also said, okay, well, it's going to come together. But we're going to have some challenges along the way.
Yeah,
and I really like to share those stories of entrepreneurs that are going through it because everyone just thinks that it's a linear path to success.
It's so wrong. And you know what? I think social media has a lot to do with that. It's like I could get, I speak a lot at colleges. It's funny. First time I ever went into a college, I was there as a speaker.
You're like,
never stood. I was like, this is what it's like. I left when I was 16 years old. My mother signed me out, and off I went, you know. So I didn't know what it was like. And here I'm speaking at UT at their entrepreneurship center. I'm a regular speaker at least 3 times a year.
That's incredible.
I don't tell them like much of the success stories. I'll abbreviate that. And I like to explain like how difficult it is because I think a lot of the people getting into entrepreneurship are misled.
Yeah, or they feel like I think there's like some kind of bravado if there's money or something behind them and people like, right? And those are the ones that fail.
It's like, they're a family, they're rich, so they give them the money. And look, all the wealthy people I know don't give their kids anything. You got to go out and figure it out yourself.
Yeah, go fight for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's...
So that ain't, the reality of that is not. And the reality of failure is huge, Well,
there's lessons in that, right? Every time you go through that, you learn. But your inspiration and your drive and vision kept it alive.
Oh, for sure.
Like there's like an art in that.
Yeah.
And saying this is the spot.
Yeah.
This needs to happen.
Yeah, because all our locations were underdeveloped. We were part of the gentrification process of everywhere. It's the waiting game.
Right. Of just waiting for it to happen. So 2016, you had the vision for what was coming to Central.
Yeah.
And now reaping the benefits.
Yeah, it was good. I'll tell you though, it's probably the first real success story of an opening that I ever experienced. A lot of businesses, they suffer until they become profitable.
Right.
Maybe you can make an income. And I think people who get into business don't believe it.
Well, the restaurant industry in general is hard, right? What's the failure rate on that? Yeah. Like 20%, like only 20% make it?
9 out of 10 the first year fail.
So
and
10%.
10%. Then that 10%, 9 out of 10 of those, the next couple of years fail. So think about that.
So that's 1%.
It's yeah. And I think a lot of that has to do because, like, say for instance, you come to me, you're like, Dan, I make these cookies and they're great. All my friends, they love them. Next thing you know, you open up a business. Your cookies could be great,
but you don't know how to run a business.
You don't know how to run a business.
Yeah. So how much of your business acumen, and I think I know the answer, but you learned from the transportation business. Did you apply? Was there any lessons from that business that you brought over into running the restaurant? Because you admitted earlier that you didn't know what food costs were until years in.
Yeah, it was like
because your costs were probably a lot different that you were looking at when running the transportation business because you don't have inventory for say, right? You got payroll, gas insurance,
tolls, insurance,
those type of things. Very obvious, right? But then now you're making food. So I guess the question is, was there any rollover from business acumen into the restaurant world, or was it a whole new learning from the seat?
Yeah, so I think to answer some of that question, first just to say I was born to be an entrepreneur. And over the years of growing up, I became very durable.
Mm-hmm.
So I could take a pounding.
Yeah.
Number one.
Right.
The acumen that I got from the transportation business that brought over to the restaurants, I think what helped was dealing with the clientele that we had. Super wealthy. You're talking
high end,
elite, most famous people. The needs are endless, you know, down to like the wrapper on a gum where it needs to be positioned. So that helped like a training aspect. That helped understand what people wanted, how much of that you could accommodate. Let's just say wrap it up to customer service, you know, and then just like an appreciation for like the finer detail, which was brought into the restaurant.
Yeah.
Down to the toilet paper. Like I remember I would day one in Tampa in 2009, 2-ply, Cottonelle, only thing allowed in the business.
I love it.
And the very first day I was making pizza, and like to get to the bathrooms and out, you got to pass the pizza station, like where I work. And it's like literally like me to you. You go to the bathroom, I'm going to see it, right?
Right.
This woman comes out, I'll never forget, dressed to the nines. And she looked at me as she was coming out of the bathroom and walking back to her seat. She goes, nice toilet paper.
You're like, yeah.
16 years later, I still tell that story.
Right, because it stuck out. It's
but
small
attention
things.
to detail, the small things. So like that. And then the other thing was how to handle off-season in the restaurant business, in any business, I think, in Florida. Because the off-season, especially years ago, when it came, it was really bad. It's gotten better. It's still rough, but not like it was. Off-season hits, people go out of business because they're not prepared.
Right.
So transportation, majority of our corporate accounts were direct bill counts. So that means they're ringing up bills for like $50, $60, $100,000, and they'll pay you in, if you're lucky, 60 days.
Right.
If you're not lucky, 120. How do you run a business? Gas, tolls, payroll, car payments. I mean, our Easy Pass bill for tolls was like $15,000. Like, how do you do that? You learn. You learn how to manipulate things, this, that, plan, create, you know, and then 9/11, first disaster ever I experienced, you know, a lot of us experienced, we were able to stay in business. So that taught me a lot. So now we go into this restaurant business, learned it the first year that there's a cycle here in Florida, you know, months good, months great, what to do, what not to do. A hurricane hits. How do you deal with that? How do you educate your team to deal with it personally? Like, I think the transportation helped me with all of that to kind of like be prepared.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Something that we've done well over the years.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, I think.
So that helped a lot. I'd say those are probably the two most important things that I carry it over into that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that your attention to detail, as you were mentioned, from working with high-end clients, shows up in the pizza, shows up in the work, customer experience, super important. And happy customers, right? That's the best marketing ever because of word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth. Listen, we've spent so much money over the years in advertising. The most important piece of advertising is word of mouth.
Yeah, customers.
Tenfold over any post, anything you can add in a newspaper.
Yeah, because what do people do? They come to town and say, where should I go eat?
It's word of mouth.
Yep.
Word of mouth is super
important.
Yeah,
that was before, I mean, like Yelp at that time and all those things weren't as big when you first opened in Tampa.
No, it wasn't evolved.
Right.
I remember making pizza and people were taking pictures of the food. And I go crazy. I'd be like, Gary, get over here. He's like, what the hell are they doing taking a picture of my food? He's like, maybe they like it. And he'd walk away. I'm like, that's not good enough. And then you see Yelp, and then you see all these things, and then Instagram. And then now it's like, if they're not taking a picture, you got a problem.
Right.
You know, but going back to fine detail, I'll give you a short story. After we got a couple stores, now my job is to visit every store because my role evolved from pizza maker to like boom, 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 boom. It's changed so much over the years. I look at fine details, right? So now I go into the restaurant in Tampa, place is packed, blah, blah, you know. So I go and I do my visit, eat something, and I try and stay low key. But people get stressed out when I'm in the building, you know, the staff, and I try not to hit them on the busiest hours. And then I leave, and then I get the call, Gary. He's like, "All right, give me the rundown."
Right. What happened?
Let me have it.
Yeah. What are you seeing?
I'm like, why weren't there any business cards in the business card holder? This is years ago.
Yeah.
Like on the host stand, business card. He's like, Dan, we did X amount in sales. The line was down the block, and you're worried about business cards? I said, listen, if there's no business cards in the holder, that tells me something else is wrong. That's why I'm asking you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it matters.
Yeah.
It matters because all those people, but they can't take a card to pass on to their friends. Right.
Yeah. Or it's someone's forgetting to refill it.
Yeah. What else are they forgetting?
Which is the ripple effect is they can't take the card.
Yeah.
So those are the conversations I was
having. I love hearing that, and it's a good reminder, right? Those things really matter, and when you pay attention to them, that's how you have success later. Because if you start letting things slip, especially in the restaurant business,
it's easy for it to steamroll. And look, sometimes we got all our ducks in a row, and you know, all the engine's firing 8 cylinders, and then, you know, we're a business. We have our flaws. We ain't perfect. You know, we get a bad employee, get a bad this, you know, something doesn't come in that we ordered, and the ripple effect, or we're just having a bad night.
Yeah.
You know, you come in and we call it a shit show in the business. Was it a shit show? Yeah, it was. Well, why? Well, this is what happened. This one called out. That one got sick. This one cut his hand. You know, the Wi-Fi went out because a pole went down, and you know, it's not for the guest. Like my conversation with something like that. All right, what could we fix? What's out of our control? Let's just prevent things from happening again. And then it's like, did it affect the customer? How did it affect the customer? And then I try to express to everybody, well, yeah, they got pissed. They got this. I said, listen, they don't care. They're not supposed to care. They chose us out of every other restaurant or going to Publix and buying a frozen pizza and getting a movie. They chose us. They don't care what we got going on.
Right. They just want to have the good experience.
So let's just, you know, do our best to accommodate. And if we got hurdles, communicate.
Yeah. Speaking of hurdles, as I don't, you know, I'm obviously biased to St. Pete since this is Talkin St. Pete. So I don't know what's going over in Tampa, but I know it's growing. As the cities have been growing, specifically St. Pete, and more quote unquote competition is rolling in. How do you evolve as an owner and stay relevant?
Yeah.
Because I know, like, more places are popping up to eat, right? If we're looking at the, you know, St. Pete Rise and this, that, it feels like every week a new place is announced.
It is. Yeah, it's wild. And we see it in our sales, you know, dips and ups and downs. 'Cause usually restaurants are open. They'll get they call it like a honeymoon period.
Right. And then
90 days and then it levels off. So, you know, number one, what we've always done and what we will always do is never change who we are. Regardless of whatever everybody else is doing, our core business, we ain't changing for anyone. It's worked. It's worked for 16 years. We stay focused on that. Now, that's the core. Then you got these things that pop up that you got to do to be creative. You know, we've renovated restaurants. We've changed the decor. We've done this. We've changed umbrellas to kind of catch. We painted the storefront. So, like, these are things that are evolving. And then just like we were talking about before we got on air, like Jess, she's been working with us for years.
Yeah, shout out Jess. We wouldn't be here without
Jess, we love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, she came to me. We were having coffee. You know, we have a bi-weekly meeting together and we catch up. She talks about, because she works in St. Pete. And she's like, Dan, I got this idea. Something's trending online. I was like, what is it? It's called girl dinner. I'm like, what the hell is girl dinner? So she explained it. She's like, please, please. She was nervous. Let me try. I was like, do whatever the hell you want. Just let me know what happens. She went, she put it together, got marketing in, got social on board, got the menu created, figured everything out, used the resources in the company, launches girl dinner. Boom. Calls me up Wednesday night, like a week or two later after it launched. And she's like, I want you to hear the noise, you know, something like that. She's like, there's not a seat empty in this restaurant. This was like the beginning of the slowest season for us. And everybody is a girl.
And they're all
Penne vodka, Caesar salads, and Hugo spritzes all night long.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, one thing I do very well, I like to listen and I like to delegate. two things I do very well. So to evolve, you need to listen to people. And
Yeah, you got to keep.
You'd be surprised who's coming up with what.
Yeah,
because you got different eyes, different age groups, different.
Yep. They got someone else has their finger on the pulse too, especially those that are watching those that are coming
so
through.
You can't be me, my idea, my idea, my idea.
Yeah, and marketing has changed, right? Like because of social. Like what is go down? That's a trendy thing that someone can. Right?
It's brought us thousands in business, and I guarantee you, those people in that seat would not be dining with us
if it wasn't for
right
because they saw it on a reel and said, "Oh, let's go do that," and it's right, and it takes off. And penny alvaca with chicken. I don't even need the menu, Dan. I come in there. I tell you, your staff is incredible. They know me.
Thank you. Yeah,
they know me. They know
hard.
They know what I want. I get the meatballs to start, and I want Pello Grigio with lime, the house Cabernet, and give me a penne alvaca. That's it. And some of the friends get some other things.
Penne alvaca is popular.
Yeah,
it's the first sauce we put on the menu a few years after we opened. It'll never go away.
It's great.
It's like core.
Yeah,
don't change what's don't change.
Yeah. Well, I just was in Italy 3 weeks ago, and got to experience some small towns, like small enough that when we were sitting at the restaurants, people came up to us and like, "Why are you here? Americans don't come here."
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah. This is not a touristy part of town. Why are you here? But I got to really experience authentic Italy, and so when you come back to the States, you look like some of these spots just don't have that. But when I'm at your spot, I feel like I'm a bit back there.
We try. We stick to the core. We do what we got to do. And listen, all I could tell everybody is look, just do your best, make our food right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when our food is made right, there's nothing better than it. And it's at a fair price. You're not paying like
because some of these I think there's like this, unfortunately, and maybe because of costs rising or because of the St. Pete trendiness, I don't know. I'm calling them out because it's like someone just told me they went to, I'm not going to call it the name of the place, but it's a new spot that opened here downtown, and it cost them $20 for a sandwich and a water.
That's insane.
Right? It's like, what is that?
We're not doing that.
What are we doing? Yeah. And I think a lot of these things like, we have to be expensive to be exclusive. I don't know what it is, right? But that's something you can always appreciate is that why I can eat at your place 2-3 times a month because it's not breaking the bank. Yeah. So talking about delegation and leverage, because you did pizzas for 5 years, right? You were behind that. What were you feeling at that moment when you had to let go?
Fear, man.
Because I think there's a lot of owners, operators, leaders, real estate agents are like, I can't let go of this. That's my thing. When it's like, there's no way you can scale if you don't.
Yeah.
What was the moment where you're like, I can no longer make pizza?
Yeah, the moment that happened was when we built the 6,000 square foot facility for the sauce company.
And you were like,
then it was no choice. It was really hard. Really hard.
Yeah, so how did you have someone follow behind you and train someone?
I had 2 guys at the time. They worked with me for like 4 or 5 years. One of them, who was Italian, who lived here, never made pizza, but I don't want to say sat by my side, but was by my side probably for like a year and a half, working it with me. And then slowly I'd give him a shift and 2 shifts. Then we worked together on busy nights. And then I'd stop doing the slow nights and he would do. It took a while. And for years, I had to manage my stress level of, is he doing right? Is it this? Is it send me a pic of the pizza? Is it that? And I still do it. I still worry because customers don't know, most customers, some do, like they get it on a plate and it's a pizza. Mm-hmm. It's not.
Right. There's so much that goes into it.
It's a craft. It's an art form. We make our dough 72 hours in advance of using it because the process of natural yeast. We feed our yeast 3 times a day. We make our dough. It's got to sit out. It's got to rise. Then it's got to rest for at least 2 days, 48 hours or 3. And then you got to take it out a certain amount of time, let it rise even more out of the walk-in cooler. And then whatever that is, you're stuck with for the day. So if you made a mistake at any part of the process, the outcome is, now you need to manage that, right? Then is it hot out? Is it raining? The way it rises, all this stuff. And then who's topping the pizza? Is it too much sauce, too much cheese? Then you got the oven. The oven's wood fired. No gas in that oven. St. Pete. It's all wood. Is the log big? Is it small? When do I add the log? Is it busy? How hot is the oven? If I put too much heat, how do I cool it down? Oh, I can't use the back of the oven. It's too hot. Oh, the front is too cold. Like all this is going on. Then it's like the toppings. This is the science behind it that I learned in Atlanta with the mad scientist. And then it's like the toppings. You know, if it has sauce and cheese, it cooks different than if it just has cheese, if it's a white pie. Sausage makes the dough rise differently. Moisture, different types of ingredients. How much? If people want to put 2, 3 toppings on, which we don't really want, it all changes. The whole thing. If one thing is off, it shifts the whole experience. It changes everything. So when you get that pie,
there's a story to it.
you got a couple days of advanced prep work to get it.
Yeah.
And it's very, very, very hard to do. It is not easy.
Well, you can taste the love that goes into it, right? And your process. That's what I'm hearing. There's such a process to it, and you're a master of the craft, and to delegate that is definitely hard, right?
Now there's multiple. You know, there's 6 spots. Well, the one at Amelie doesn't serve pizza, but you know the airport does. They do a great job, and you know you hear of like, oh, we got a new pizza maker. And I'm like, how long is he working? Or she? You know, I found a lot of success over the years training females. They learn much faster than the men.
We're just dumb.
Dumb and egos and
right.
Well, I used to do that. Well, that don't apply here. You made New York style pizza for X amount of years. It's not going to work here. You just can't train them.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad habits.
Then you hire someone good or someone who will be good, and then you have to be patient to get them to where they got to be. And then it's an investment financially. You got to have 2 people on the oven until he learns. It's double the cost. So,
well, Dan, you're opening my eyes to more and more appreciation for your place. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about St. Pete.
Yes.
Are you? Well, what's the difference, right? I always like to ask this question with owners who have businesses in Tampa and St. Pete. There's a difference.
A big difference.
What? How do you identify?
How do you? What you're saying? Yeah.
How do you identify it? Like, as an owner? What's some major things that stick out?
Day one, St. Pete opens. I knew there was a difference. I'll tell you, and I'm going to reference it in a way that I could explain it. Tampa is more like New York. Okay? They come into Bavaro's in Tampa. They're not just coming to Bavaro's. They're coming to Bavaro's as the first stop to where they're going next. Going to watch a hockey game. Going to chill in Curtis Hickson Park. They got a show. I'm going to the Straz. I'm going to the Tampa Theater. I'm going to watch the Bucks play. So they come in. I need to eat. I need to get the hell out of here as fast as possible. So it's got that chaotic in and out, in and out, in and out, tables here, there, you know. Now, day one in St. Pete, I'm there for a lunch shift. And our lunches, because of where we are, there's not a lot of buildings. They aren't tremendous lunches like Tampa probably does 5 times the business of the lunch. Couple comes in, 3 people come in, they sit down. Oh, I'll take a bottle of wine. I was like, what? 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, different.
More relaxed. More relaxed. Even in the evening, it's just more relaxed. A different experience. It's a different experience for both locations to dine at.
Clientele, what people are doing.
Food, what they're doing is different. So for me, that was the eye opener. Is it's more chill, more low key in St. Pete, more living life.
Right
over here, eat, get the hell out of there as fast. as
Yeah,
possible.
like you could go to Bavaro, like, and that could be your final stop.
Yeah, it could be it.
Right.
People may stay longer.
Yep.
You know, tables turn a little slower there.
Yeah, I wonder, you know, because traveling through Europe, I've gone to, I used to live in Germany, and then I you know, been going over there for the last few summers. And I think the hospitality industry in Europe just smokes most of the U.S. in terms of the care and everything, the way it shows up. Because there's not, most restaurants, you're not going to a restaurant if you want to turn and burn.
No. You're
Right?
going for the experience.
You're going to enjoy the food and the company and to be there. I think St. Pete has that, and I think that's why I love where Bavaro's is and the location, and because it has that European feel. Because I don't ever feel like anyone's rushing me out to turn the table.
Yeah,
right.
It's different, but I'll tell you though, St. Pete is very protective of St. Pete. When we came over and opened, It was tough.
Yeah,
They were not happy
because you were a
Tampa entrepreneur was coming to St. Pete to open. It took a little bit for the St. Pete community to understand that we're here for and we're going to create a positive impact. We're very involved in the neighborhood. We do as much as we can with donations, and so that took a while though, because they just want St. Pete people to be in St. Pete.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, I spoke about this a lot on the show because there's, Booyah just is shutting down.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. They're right down the street from me. Yeah.
After all these years, right?
They opened when we opened, maybe a year after.
Yeah, it said that the article said that they couldn't come to agreement with the landlord, right?
Yeah, that's happening a lot.
And why? I can imagine it's costs, right?
Yeah.
Landlords are saying there's some bigger players coming in, and I've been talking about this for the 2+ years I've had the show. But that is my biggest concern with Central Ave right now, is that as these bigger players come in and other landlords catch wind, they're going to demand more on the local guy who can't afford it.
Yeah.
And we are at risk of losing our charm on Central if landlords if we let the big box come in.
Yeah.
I'm not that Sweet Green is a large franchise.
Yeah.
They got bigger pockets.
They got cash. Yeah. They
right?
got money behind it. They got the marketing dollars.
You show up, you watch what shows up. I'm just watching what's going on, and especially with these towers that are opening here downtown. And I've spoken with their teams, and I know they're trying to be selective on what's going in, but money speaks.
Yeah.
And so I think you guys now are a staple on Central, and luckily you own the building, so your costs you can maintain your costs. But some of these other folks,
no, it's tough. That started happening outside of COVID. That was a big coming out of COVID. People not making it, the rent's going up, and that was a big deal coming out. 21,
I walk
22.
by some of these storefronts and I go, how are they doing it?
Yeah.
They got to be locked in. For our office here, we're looking for some space in a particular area of town that's very competitive.
Yeah.
And I was walking down there last night going, all right, which one of these, who could be next? And not that I'm wishing anyone's demise,
but you're right.
But I'm looking. You got to put your visionary eyes on. Okay, if I'm gonna predict the future in the next 12 to 24 months, who's not going to be able to pay rent?
Yeah, it's tough, especially hurricanes. I don't think many people realize how bad it impacts. Even if you just close for one day,
that's huge.
One day is like whoa.
Well, it's not only
talk about a week when Milton hit second. All of Bavaro's were closed for 6 days.
And your staff is down.
Staff's down. We're down. Everyone's suffering. Mm-hmm. And you think, why? Well, hurricane, all the news, people get stressed out. Yes. They ain't going out to eat.
No.
They're looking for sandbags and how am I going to protect my home?
Yeah.
And then it's the closure days when it passes through. Then it's the rehab afterwards. And now next thing you know, you got no revenue for 6 days. That's for a restaurant, man, last year was rough.
Yeah.
Praying for nothing to come up the pipe this year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed, it's a little cooler already. And so they're saying.
So what are they saying? They're
Megan met Dennis Phillips last weekend.
Oh, he's great. He's got the best hair.
Yeah, he does, right? But he said because of the coldness that's going on, it's keeping everything away.
Good. Let's continue that, Dennis.
Right. Yeah. Let's just keep the thermostat turned down, keep the hurricanes away.
Yeah, it's devastating. So
yeah. What do you see the future of St. Pete going? You're watching Tampa, you're in St. Pete, you're watching revenues, you're seeing the seasons that are happening. What do you think St. Pete looks like in the next 24 to 36 months?
Ugh. In reference to what? Business-wise or just itself?
Overall.
I think there's going to be...
You being the visionary that you are, where do you see us going?
More growth. I mean, I like to see, the last month or two I've had a lot going on, so I kind of lost touch with what's going on with the ballpark and all that stuff. I think there's a lot of opportunity for St. Pete to grow and improve on itself. So, for me, continued businesses are going to open and hopefully more people visit. I do think travel to St. Pete, I could be wrong. I'm just going from what I hear. This year was kind of less in some fashion.
I know.
Probably due to the hurricanes and the beaches and all that stuff. There was a little impact for sure. I don't have any factual data, but
my factual data is my dad said he's not coming down here for his anniversary like they normally do because they said last year we got canceled because of the hurricane.
Yeah,
so they don't.
It leaves a ripple effect.
Yep.
So yeah, I think so for St. Pete, it just needs to be protected for what it is. And I agree with you about, all these, let's say, big box or corporate chains coming through.
Yeah.
I think it'll take some of the, the core values of the city out if that would
We just got to watch,
But we could stop that as patrons. I hate to say it, support your local business.
Yeah, just don't go.
Yeah, it's like support the local businesses. They got everything on the line. I mean, look, even if a competitor of mine or closes, it's like I don't wish that on anyone. It's devastating.
No, there should be enough to go around, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm always a part of like collaboration. That's what's one thing that I've this is close to 90 interviews I've done on this show. So
really?
speaking
Congrats.
with, I've spoken to a lot of business owners, and everyone's so collaborative. Green Bench will share stories of other people supporting them and coming through. Another brewery, Golden Isle, says we wouldn't be here without Green Bench.
Yeah.
There's just all this support.
People thought when we were open and then Pizza Box 4 doors down was opening, and they made like this riff between us. Like we didn't have a riff, but they made it seem like because we were both selling pizza and this and that and this. And then I talked to the owners and I was like, what is this all about? They're like, we don't know. We got no problems with you. They come and eat penny vodka. We'd order pizzas for them. And it's like,
yeah. It's so different. Totally different.
Like, I don't want nothing. It's a family, They got together, had a kid, and like, what do I want? They have their own business. You know what I'm saying? It's like different style food than us. They're going to have their own. We're going to support them. Let them be successful. We can be successful too. Like, why are people like thinking we hate on each other because we're in the same business? We got to support each other. The more people we have on the block is better for us.
That's it, right?
Yeah.
Because of walk-in traffic. You guys got a lot of good walk-in traffic. And it definitely helps. Yeah, I'm watching that, and I don't know. Like, I know the one thing the city does is they don't. They watch the permit size to how much square footage you can have on frontage.
Yes.
Because some of these bigger box, they want more frontage square footage, and the city kind of halts a little bit to that, which keeps us, favorable for small businesses. But that's the charm. There's nothing. We have all been to areas of the country or whatever, and we all have that strip that you drive down, and it's like if you didn't know where you were, you wouldn't be able to tell because
you recognize everything.
Everything looks the same, right? It's all the traffic lights with all the same big box.
The Marshalls, here's
the Marshalls, here's your Home Depot, here's McDonald's, here's this, here's that, right? It's like I don't know where I'm at because everything looks the same. Downtown St. Pete's special because you've never seen most of these places.
It's true.
If you were from out of town.
Plus different areas. You got Beach Drive. They got that thing going on. You got the Central Dig. Then you got, Grand Central. It's like you got different neighborhoods with different things going on. And it's amazing because if I'm visiting a city that I've never been to, and I'm there for 3 days, you get 3 different experiences.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
right?
if you know what you're doing.
But you're going to ask people word of mouth. That's going to tell you where to go.
Exactly.
So what's next for Dan? Where's the next vision taking you?
Yeah, so right now we're in, I don't want to say a step back, maybe a step back. We're holding right now. And we're holding to improve ourselves and create more inside the 4 walls of all our businesses. Last year we had some growth. We opened Clearwater Beach in January. Bought a building for a central kitchen where we make our meatballs and our pastas that we distribute out to all the restaurants because we've been leasing for the last few years. So we bought that. And we wound up buying a very popular bread company, Gulf Coast Sourdough.
Oh, cool.
And they do farmers markets distribution and stuff like that. So that was operating in the building. Wasn't the intention. We just needed a building to do our stuff. And that's been in business for like 10 years. They had all the employees there. I was like, they're not going to lose their jobs. Let's just figure a deal out. And the former owner and I did a deal that was very favorable for both of us. So now we're just trying to like figure that all out. In the meantime, recruit what we lost from the hurricanes. Say we lost over $500,000 in revenue. Not easy to get through. So it took majority of our profits from 2025 high season to replenish that. So we're in a phase right now. We're just getting stronger internally. And then next year, 26, we'll see what we're going to do.
Yeah. For the business owners that are listening, like you've scaled, right? You now have that, and you've talked about delegating.
Somehow, some way. Yes.
Yeah, you put people in place from being behind the dough for 5 years to now this operation that you're overseeing. What's your day-to-day look like, and how many people report just to you? Because I find that in the delegation process, right, sometimes I'm guilty, like still try to be too involved, or I'm not involved enough, and there's like this weird balance.
So for me, for Dan, the last, let's just say all of 25 is distancing myself from that. Mm-hmm. I need to talk to technically 4 people. And then I need to assess and listen and see what's going on. And then keep the vision. Vision, what's next? What does it look like? Because all this stuff I saw before it happened. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw it. I saw Tampa open in my eyes, umbrellas, all this stuff, the pizza, a year and a half before it was gone. Like I get deep visionary, you know. So I will do that for the future. I just keep that to myself. Mm-hmm. I don't like to talk about. Yeah,
it's fair. You keep your craft.
Yeah, it's just, you know, right now I express what we're doing for this year, and that's what we're doing. But yes, over the last year, I've distanced myself from that. I'm trusting the people we put in place to do their jobs, and then the key 4 people will report to me. You know, you got marketing, you got operations. I have 2 people in operations. You have the controller of the company, finances and stuff like that. And it's like the 4 people that I talk to. And then I give my observations, and, you know, we go from there.
Yeah. So. Last question, and we'll wrap up here. If going back to day one when you opened Tampa, if you could go back and talk to that Dan, what would you tell him?
Oof. That's a good question. Oh, man, what would I tell him? It's hard because I think sometimes I think I would just say, just hang in there and believe, you know, but I think that's the only way that we've came to success, because I've always had strong belief and grit and never wanting to fail. Man, I don't even know if I could answer that right now, honestly.
Yes,
what can I tell? Do what you're destined to do. Like follow your instincts, I guess, because it's led us. I don't know. I don't think that I could really say I would change anything, even with all the stuff that has collapsed along the way. Like that's where you learn. When you're winning, you don't learn. You know, that sauce company that I told you we closed up?
Yep. Less than that.
We lost $1 million.
Yeah. You feel that.
Yeah, well, it's also investor money and people's trust. And I'll tell you, the person that lost the most money, most of that money, you'd think would turn his back on you. He's one of my closest advisors today. Wow. And mentors.
Yeah.
Decade later.
Yeah. Goes to belief, right? I mean, it's like, hey, you guys learn together.
Yeah. So, but, I don't know. I think for entrepreneurs, I say, trust your instincts, believe in yourself. And, you know, pay attention and don't pay attention too much of what the neighbors are doing. So I think it's one of the biggest flaws that people to do. I don't compare. Someone has success, great, good luck. I watch, I learn. Maybe that's something we could do in our own way. Never copy. Yeah. You know. Yep.
Fair enough. So. And I won't put you on the spot and make you name another restaurant. You know, my famous question of it's your birthday and where are we going to eat?
God, birthday. Well, I'm never here for my birthday, so I can't throw anybody shout outs. Let's see.
That's okay. Do you, you know, being self-taught and having mentors, do you do any reading or listening to any podcasts?
A lot. Podcasts, no. My son's big in the podcasts.
But you're reading.
But yeah, I do a lot.
When I ask, you know, if there was a book you were to give away or recommend, what's the first one that comes to mind?
Yeah, first book that changed my mind was Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Me too.
Phenomenal book. Read that years ago.
Yep.
Great book. Personal book, not related to business. I just started getting into like reading books that are not like self-help or business driven. The Alchemist, best book ever.
I mean, some would say that's a self-help book.
That is amazing. Someone lent me that book.
It's good. I haven't read. I've listened to it.
No, you need to read. It's just, I actually for the first time like really felt I was there. in that type of book. You know, the business book is different.
Yeah.
I've read tons of business books.
Yeah.
But right now I just got Meditations. It's
by
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah. Tough read.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
a little
it's,
concerned about that.
yeah,
But supposedly, you know, I did some research on it. You know, what is the easy read? Because my reading is not the best, you know. Easy reads I could go through quick. So I just finished the book, and now I'm going to start that. I'm excited to read it.
Yeah, I had that one. That was sitting on my nightstand for a while.
Oh, don't tell me that.
You'll get through it. You'll do
nervous.
it. Yeah,
I'm
no,
nervous,
it's good. That stuff is really good. But, you know, in that time period of the way they spoke and stuff like that, you just
Who wrote that book? Was it Greg? Someone's name's Greg Hayes. Is that the guy who wrote? Is it Black, the book?
Yeah.
Like a red. All right, that's the one I got. They said that was the easiest read. If you're telling me it's hard.
I'm not saying it's hard.
I just came
Greg.
off a hard read. It took me a month and a half to read a book, and I was like, that's rough.
No. Don't listen. Don't let me sway you. Form your own opinion on it. It's a great book. I just haven't finished it.
Let me ask you. Can I ask you a question?
Oh yeah, ask me all
So
the
far,
questions
you didn't finish it. Are you on like page 5, or are you at least halfway through?
Probably a quarter.
Anything?
I can't remember. It's been a while.
All right.
It's been a while.
All right.
Yeah, normally I can pull from it quick, but I think that was one where I was like, maybe I just wasn't. You know, sometimes I think books find us at the right time too.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
No, that one I don't think it was the right time.
Understood.
Yeah.
It's good to sometimes put it down, read
Come
something
back,
else.
right? Yeah, you got to be in the right framework and mind. And you know, I've read a couple books a few times because you know one of my favorite sayings is you're never the same man or woman. The same man or woman never walks to the same river twice.
Okay.
Right? Because the water's flowing. You're different. It's a totally different spot. Yeah, but I love to read and consume things because I think it's like you can learn from so many people. That's why this podcast has been so fun for me.
Yeah.
You know, and learning from the great minds that are shaping our city and doing cool things.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. This was great.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, I got so many more, but you know, we've gone an hour. I want to respect your time, so appreciate you. Thank you for what you're doing for the city. Excited to watch what comes next, whenever that is.
Appreciate it. Keep supporting Bavaro's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna count you for 3-4 visits a month.
I'm there, man. I'm there.
Yeah.
I bring the crew through. We always hang out. We have a great time. So,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. For those that are still with us, I asked the guests, what's one word that they could comment below if they made it this far into the show?
One word that they could comment below if they made it this far. Margarita.
Margarita. Comment margarita. Dan Bavaro, thank you. Thank you for being here. If you're still with us, like, share, subscribe, share with a friend, and go check out Bavaro's website.
Yeah, bavarospizza.com, and then at Bavaro's Pizza on social.
Boom. There it is, everyone. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.